Hello friends. Today I am going to be dehydrating some kale. Like usual, I had a big old crop of kale this year, and it's the one thing I can really grow easily and a lot of. So the last few years I've been primarily freezing it. You blanch it first and then you freeze it. But then I got concerned because we are in Florida where we do have hurricanes and possible power outages, and I didn't want to lose my harvest if we were out of power for, a few days or something or worse. So this year I've been really into food preservation. If you've been following me, you already know that. And I started canning, pressure canning, and food dehydrating. So I have done some pressure canning of kale. This is a batch I did where I mixed my blanched kale with some Great Northern beans, and this just turned out delicious. I just put a little bit of onion powder in with the broth and pressure can that for 90 minutes. My new favorite way to do it, because it takes up a lot less space, is dehydrating it and then turning that dehydrated kale, which you could just save like that and use, but I turn it into a powder, so it condenses it even further into just a couple jars this size, a whole garden full. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Now this is my new dehydrator. I just upgraded to this one. I started off with a much smaller one of the round ones, but I didn't care for how the heat and the fan came up from the bottom. It had a tendency to not dry evenly. So I did buy this one. This is called a Samson brand of dehydrator, and it comes with 6 shelves. I've only got 3 in right now because I have 3 big loads in there. And it does come with 6 shelves. It comes with these liners, so you can dehydrate little things that won't fall through. And it has a timer on there up to 10 hours and temperature settings that are all preset. So it's really nice. I'm very pleased with this dehydrator. I'll put a link to it down below in the description box. I space these apart in here because, it's so fluffy that you can't get all 6 trays in there, and I really load them up good. And of course I will save some of this deliciousness just to have in fresh salads. And then I'll probably can a few jars of it too. Turn that temp down to about 140, and we'll let that, I just keep it on the 10 hours is the time that it defaults to, is 10 hours. And I'll just check it in about 4 hours. It should be done by 5 hours for sure. So it dried out really, really good. You can't hardly over dehydrate it. You want it to be really good and dry so that you can just crunch it up like this. And then I like to go through and just pick out any big stems that I might see in there. I do find the dinosaur kale has the bigger stems, and for the most part it will get pulverized when I stick this in the blender to turn it into a powder. But just to be on the safe side, I pick out any really big obnoxious pieces. And what I do, all I'm going to do is just pour this into my Ninja. And I'll do one more load, just like that. And again, just pick out any big stems. And of course you de-stem all of this kale before you even put it in the dehydrator. You want to pull out that big stem in the middle. I actually do it before I soak it. I soak all of my kale in a sink full of cold water with about 2 tablespoons of vinegar and probably about a 1/4 cup of salt. I let it all just soak in that for about 30 minutes, and that'll kill any little critters that might be living in there. And then you just rinse it really, really good before you dehydrate it. Okay. Okay, and I am going to blitz this up real good. I'll be right back. Okay. As you can see, this is a nice fine powder now. You're just going to add it to the jar of the rest of it and just tap it to get it all out of there real good. Now what I can do with this powder is I can add this into some muffins, breads. It's really good just to take a couple tablespoons of it and put it in soups or stews. Anyhow, it's taking a massive amount of kale and condensing it into a much more manageable size to store. For short-term storage, I just store this in the jar with a silica packet. It is a food-grade silica desiccant gel pack. And I just pop it in there, and I can just use that as needed. And then I have another one that I store. I'll dig that out. This is another jar that I did. This is for long-term storage. Same thing, only in this one I put in a 200 cc packet of oxygen absorber in there, and didn't quite seal my lid completely because I think maybe I could put a little bit more in there, but it really keeps the oxygen out of it, and so it will do very well for long-term storage without getting any sort of contaminants or anything in there. I think I might put an extra oxygen absorber in there. I just bought some packs of 300 cc oxygen absorbers, so I think I'll put one of those in there, because this one I plan on just storing it more long term, whereas this one is going to be what I'm going to be using within the next 6 months or so. Anyway, that's it. I'm getting ready to put another batch in the dehydrator. See you next time.